Hi everyone, this is Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop, and we just had breaking news about Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, and being taken into intensive care due to the coronavirus. So this is breaking news, and it's always tricky doing a reading for someone when things are unfolding in the minute. But these things also happen in real life, and sometimes I often have had clients that are in the middle of a crisis. It's not probably the best time to get a reading, but sometimes a client will come in and there's nothing much you can do except do the reading to try to help them get through the crisis that they might be dealing with. So I am a little bit uncomfortable doing this type of reading in the middle of unfolding events. But then I thought, well, this actually happens in real life too. People do face health crises or issues with relationships. So I thought I'll just do it and see what we get.
Prime Minister Boris Johnson has been transferred to the intensive care unit after testing positive for coronavirus and heading into the hospital. CNN's Bianca Nobilo joins me now with the details on this. Bianca, what are you learning here?
Okay, this hour we have learned that Boris Johnson's been transferred to the ICU. Now, we knew that he had been admitted to hospital about 24 hours ago. The Prime Minister tested positive for coronavirus 10 days ago. He'd then been in self-isolation. We'd barely seen him. He'd only emerged once or twice. Then, yesterday, on the advice of his doctor, because his symptoms were persisting, he was advised to go to hospital for, quote, routine tests. We were not told what those were. We then received word about 15 minutes ago that he'd been moved to the intensive care unit about 7 p.m, so about an hour ago local time. Now, that's all we have at the moment about the Prime Minister's condition.
With the Prime Minister now in intensive care, this is obviously an extremely serious situation. I mean, how worried should people be about his health and about who's in charge of the government?
Well, the government's business will continue, and the Prime Minister is in safe hands with a brilliant team at St Thomas's Hospital, and the focus of the government will continue to be on making sure at the Prime Minister's direction, all the plans for making sure that we can defeat coronavirus and pull the country through this challenge will be taken forward.
So I'm going to do some Lenormand cards first. This is the crystal ball deck. And we're going to see what we get from about Boris Johnson and his health going forward. Let's see what we get. Okay, how will he recover from the coronavirus, or will he not recover? Snake. Well, I think snake represents something slippery and something poisonous and something toxic. In Lenormand, the snake is not a good card. I mean, in other types of reading, it possibly could mean medicine, but in Lenormand, it's usually a negative. It's usually attack, enemy, venom. Okay, so I'm sort of seeing that more as a negative, not as a positive. Okay, the clover's good. Clover means luck. Clover is more of a medicine card. It's almost like herbal medicine, say, or some sort of herb. So that is a good card. And the clover to me is lucky, but it also can mean life energy, life force. So that's positive for him. Child. I see this as a good card as well. Child can represent young people. It could represent a fresh start, but it does also mean vulnerable too, because if you think of a child can be easily, overpowered, say. Woman is probably his partner. I'm going to take that as his partner. So there's a woman beside him or with him. And tree is health. So it's not really giving us a conclusion. So I'm going to do the sum total and see what we get. So he's got 7 plus 2 plus 13 plus 29 plus 5 equals 56. 5 plus 6 equals 11. So let's look up card number 11. Whip, oh gosh, whip, it usually means a beating and a punishing. So this looks pretty bad. Looks like he's going to have a hard time. It's possibly death, although it's not usually a death card, but if you imagine someone getting whipped severely, could lead to their death. So it's being a little bit open-ended. So I'm going to ask the tarot and see if the tarot gives us more of a conclusion. This is not good though, because the whip is following the tree, and the tree is about health and well-being. And we've got here two very gentle, fragile cards. The child is fragile, and so is the clover. And then we have the attacking snake here. So it doesn't look too good. And so it starts with an attack and it ends with an attack. So I think the Lenormand was being a little bit coy. It sort of told us what we already know. It told us that his health is under attack. He's thinking of his child to be, because his partner's pregnant, and his partner. And then it ended on him having his health beaten. He's going to suffer health-wise, but it didn't give me kind of a conclusion. It sort of summarized what we already know. So let's see if the tarot wants to go further. And this is the yellow tarot deck with keywords that I'm using. So let's see what these ones want to say. I think the Lenormand cards describe the situation pretty well. Let's see if these want to go further into the future. Sword. Now it's interesting because the sword card, if you look at it, it has a crown. I've been noticing that that's the corona. Corona means crown, and it also could be the royal family as well, or royalty, or the queen. So it's kind of got double meaning there. Now the sword also can mean something attacking you. You know, if someone takes a sword up against you, it means they want to kill you probably, or fight you. Okay, this is a good card generally. It means someone who is has resources. It looks like, it kind of even looks a bit like Boris. Sort of like a plump, happy-go-lucky type of guy. Hard working. So it shows someone who's working. You know, was working, is working. Apparently it was reported that he was still working at the hospital, which is hard to believe. Or possibly he's got his ministers or whoever works with him. Now this card, the Eight of Coins, could also mean he has to work at it. Family, this is about family, and it could be the society. Great Britain society. It's also to do with wealth and health and well-being. This is usually a family card. If we look at it, it says here happy family, history, tradition, security, generational wealth, society, government. So it's literally describing his job and his country. And then we have him, blonde man. Yeah, it doesn't really want to give us the conclusion. It's sort of describing him. Okay, what's going to happen to Boris? Okay, this is good. This looks like a happy return. So, welcome, celebration, invitation, stability, foundation. So it looks like there's a happy return, but I'm still feeling a bit unsatisfied. So let's see what else. Okay, celebration. Okay, so this looks good. It looks like there's a celebration, and it doesn't look like he's going to die. So that's a good thing for him and the country, I suppose, and the world. Okay, so that was kind of intense. I don't know. It seems like he will go through a very difficult time. However, the cards did seem to show him getting through this. Now, I'm just going to do one extra card for advice. I'm going to use the Gypsy Tattoo for this one. So, what do we need to know for Boris Johnson? What do the cards want to just say to us? Just anything that they want to sort of say. Star. Okay, that's good. Star represents kind of like recovery, guidance, a bit of destiny with the star as well. Wisdom, so that could be the doctors and the professors and the people who are helping him. People with knowledge. I do see the owl as a card of knowledge. And the candle again. So, okay, so he's fragile. Candle in the wind. But the candle does have a positive vibe because it's with a positive card, which is the star. And the owl here, again, the owl could be an omen of death, but if it was with a negative card, I would be more concerned about that. But this does look more on the positive. But yeah, it is sort of talking about fragile, like a candle in the wind. So I do think he will be okay. And I think he's got, obviously, wisdom and knowledge around him. This is Boris Debono of the Fortune Teller Shop.